Tired of the negativity? Looking for a shot of optimism? Well, I have an inspiring story to make you smile right after this. This episode of Misfits and Crackpots is brought to you by the Well-Crafted Story Workshop. Struggling to connect with your audience and attract new clients? Transform your speaking skills at the Well-Crafted Story Workshop with Coach Jimmy Hayes Nelson and yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. In just 2 days, master the art of crafting compelling speeches that convert listeners into clients. Whether in-person or virtual, you'll get personalized attention in an intimate group, learning not just from expert coaches, but from fellow entrepreneurs. Don't let another opportunity slip away. Get your free story blueprint today at wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com and turn your story into your most powerful business tool. Your success starts here. Visit wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com now. You're just a well-crafted story away from 7 figures. Hello there, my friend, and welcome to Misfits and Crackpots, short, inspiring stories for busy people. I'm Dr. Danny Brissell. This is a podcast for those interested in extraordinary stories about ordinary people and companies. Consider it your dose of positivity and inspiration for the week. Arianna Huffington said, "We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success." This week's success strategy: embrace failure. Asked about the opposite of success, many people will answer failure. But they are dead wrong. In order to succeed, one must fail a lot. The road to success is paved with potholes, and too many people give up rather than persevering. It's a concept that countless individuals, from politicians to athletes to scientists, grapple with daily. But successful people understand that failure is an important part of the process. To succeed, one must fail, often and spectacularly. One such person has lived his entire life tackling challenges and patiently staying the course. Trained in the classics as a child, his schoolmasters considered him to be difficult. While studying Latin and Greek, subjects revered in academic circles, he showed an interest in making things. Noticing this inclination, school officials encouraged him to study art, hoping to channel his creative energy into a respectable academic pursuit. But he rebelled against learning the history of art, finding little satisfaction in memorizing dates and styles. Instead, he gravitated towards woodwork, a subject that allowed him to engage directly with materials, to shape and create with his hands. This choice, however, was met with disapproval. Woodwork, to his academic advisors, was considered manual labor, a pursuit beneath someone seeking a serious academic degree. This clash between his practical interest and the expectations of a traditional education would shape his future in unexpected ways. The tension between his inclinations and societal expectations eventually landed him in college studying interior design. It wasn't a perfect fit, but it was a step closer to his true interest. Soon he found himself drawn to furniture design and then industrial design. Eventually, his journey led him to become fascinated with designing consumer products. Here at last, he found a field vast enough to accommodate his diverse interests and his insatiable appetite for tinkering. This fascination would become the foundation for his future innovations, though he couldn't have known it at the time. Many may consider him to be an inventor, but they are dead wrong. The term inventor often conjures images of lone geniuses working in isolation to bring forth revolutionary ideas from thin air. This romantic notion, however, is far from reality. Innovation is rarely, if ever, the work of a single mind operating in a vacuum. Consider some of the most famous inventors in history. Samuel Morse is credited with inventing the electrical telegraph system, but his work built upon the discoveries of many others, including Hans Christian Ørsted, William Sturgeon, and Joseph Henry. Thomas Edison, often hailed as the inventor of the light bulb, actually improved upon existing designs, making them practical for widespread use. Even the Wright brothers, celebrated for inventing the airplane, were part of a broader community of aviation pioneers, building on the work of others like Otto Lilienthal. True innovation often comes not from inventing something entirely new, but from persistently improving existing ideas. Innovators learn from each failure along the way. The road to a functioning telegraph, a practical light bulb, or a controllable airplane was paved with countless failures, each one providing valuable lessons that brought the final product closer to reality. So perhaps the term inventor is a misnomer. Indeed, the term innovator may be more appropriate. Our protagonist understood this principle intimately. He didn't see himself as an inventor in the romanticized sense, but rather as a design engineer. This distinction is crucial. It acknowledges that developing an idea and making it work is not a single flash of genius, but a process of persistent effort, continuous learning, and countless iterations. For him, failure was not just an occasional setback, but a daily routine. Each failed prototype, each design that didn't quite work as intended, was not a reason to give up, but a valuable piece of data. These failures inform the next iteration, gradually moving each project closer to success. The most important lesson he learned over the course of his career was to fail forward. Failure, he determined, was not an endpoint, but a stepping stone. Each failure, when approached with the right mindset, moves you forward in your understanding and closer to your goal. Progress, not perfection, became his mantra. By the late 1970s, he had helped design a flat-bottom boat that could be loaded and unloaded without a jetty. Additionally, he co-developed a wheelchair with four-wheel drive, and he also had created a wheelbarrow that was easier to maneuver than typical brands, as it used a rubber ball that could go in any direction rather than standard wheels. None of these innovations made him wealthy. But his reimagined wheelbarrow proved to be a good teacher, as it pushed him to sell it and set up a business around it. Harsh lessons in sales, dealing with unscrupulous employees and proper patent procedures taught him what to do and what not to do in his further pursuits. In 1978, while spraying his wheelbarrow's metal frames with powdered paint, he became frustrated with the inefficiency of the process. He noticed that surplus powder consistently escaped the frames, entangling itself in the calico cloth at the back of the spray booth and causing blockages. Recognizing the wastefulness of the situation, he decided to explore a more efficient approach. His inspiration came from an unlikely source, a nearby timber mill. There, he observed a high-priced industrial cyclone used to remove sawdust from the air. This industrial tool sparked an idea. Could a similar principle be applied to his paint spraying problem? Acting on this insight, he built his own 25-foot cyclone to suck away the waste powder. He would later describe his version as a foam filter that never clogged. This solution not only solved his immediate problem, but also demonstrated the power of looking beyond one's immediate field for solutions. Then fate and timing stepped in. Many would dismiss the concepts of fate and timing, but they are dead wrong. In her book, Inventology: How We Dream Up Things That Change the World, author Pagan Kennedy observed that a lot of society's most innovative ideas come from people who are in a position to see a problem that needs fixing in a very personal way. While working out a better way to suck away waste powder from painting his wheelbarrows, our protagonist encountered a similar problem at home. His high-end vacuum cleaner required non-reusable bags, and even those regularly clogged with dust and dirt. This was more than just an annoyance. It was a challenge that resonated with his engineer's mind. Intrigued by the prospect of adapting the cyclone technology he had successfully implemented in the wheelbarrow factory, he began to experiment. He fashioned a basic cyclone using cardboard and affixed it to his vacuum in lieu of a bag. This crude prototype was the first step in what would become a years-long journey of innovation. The path from this initial idea to a marketable product was long and arduous. It took 5 years of relentless work, creating over 5,000 prototypes and investing most of his family's life savings. Each prototype that failed to meet his exacting standards was not a defeat, but a lesson learned, a step closer to the final design. After years of work, he finally created his first cyclonic vacuum cleaner. But the challenges were far from over. No major vacuum manufacturer in his native United Kingdom would invest in his creation. His innovative design threatened the necessity for highly profitable non-reusable vacuum dust bags, a key revenue stream for those companies. Undeterred by the rejection, he filed a series of patents for his technology and made a bold decision. He would launch his own company. Recognizing that the conservative UK market might not be ready for his revolutionary design, he targeted the Japanese market through catalog sales. As his vacuum began to sell in Japan, he set up his own research center and factory in England. This move allowed him to continue refining his designs and to scale up production. Using the slogan, "Say goodbye to the bag," his dual cyclone vacuum cleaner became the fastest-selling vacuum cleaner ever made in the United Kingdom. But the success didn't stop there. By early 2005, his vacuum cleaners had become the market leaders in the United States by volume. This was just the beginning. Since then, he has spent his time with growing teams of engineers and scientists, inventing products that pioneer new approaches to traditional products, including low-energy cordless vacuums, bladeless fans, air purifiers, heaters, lighting, high-efficiency hair dryers, stylers, and straighteners. His company's scientific research has led to breakthroughs in various fields, including digital motors, solid-state batteries, material science, and purification. What started as a simple idea to improve a household chore has grown into a global technology company present in 84 markets around the world. The once struggling entrepreneur and frustrated consumer has truly persevered, and along the way he's earned a knighthood and a fortune. And now, Sir James Dyson is one of the wealthiest people in England. See, friend, inspiration is all around us. You just have to look for it. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another inspiring story about misfits and crackpots. Misfits and Crackpots is a production of Success Media, produced by Terrence Wishner. Sound effects by Alessandro Lucati, courtesy of Pixabay. Thank you for tuning in. If you loved today's story, there's so much more to explore in the book Misfits and Crackpots by yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. Grab your copy now on Amazon and dive deeper into the extraordinary lives of those who dared to change the world. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with fellow misfits who love inspiring stories. See you next time.